They come from all across the world, from many different lands. The brave from Britain, the confident from America, the determined from Japan, and anyone else, anywhere else, who wants to step up to the challenge. 100 challengers compete across a 4-stage obstacle course devised by the devil. Success means glory. Failure means humiliation. It truly is win or die. Many have tried. Very few have succeeded. But they all have one goal: to become the next champion. This is Ninja Warrior of Halo! Hello guys, I'm Hunter Unit 751 and welcome back to Ninja Warrior of Halo. We have reached a crucial moment in Tournament 19. So far, 80 challengers have stepped up to take on the first stage, and the results are not what we expected. Of the 80 attempts we have seen so far, 78 of them have ended in failure, with only 2 competitors booking their place in the second stage. The veteran Flame Vortex 03, who beat stage 1 for his first time ever in the last tournament, was the first to break through in this tournament, overcoming all of the changes to the course to make it back to the second stage for the second tournament in a row. He was then followed by another veteran, Alpha Puma, who was looking to bounce back after a disappointing couple of tournaments. He powered his way round, and his success meant that we'd had 2 clears in 7 runs, and it looked like the tide was turning for our competitors in this tournament. But following on from Puma, that has proven to be nothing but a false dawn. We had the All-Star Elite MKB step up for his 15th appearance on this course, but he found he was no match for the new half-pipe attack, and he failed to secure his 10th Stage 1 clear. We then had a couple of very close calls. The veteran Snaz, who'd failed Stage 1 for the last 4 tournaments in a row, almost broke that losing streak, but he misjudged his jump off of the flying chute. Then returning competitor Bananarama, on only his 2nd ever appearance on this course, came so close to beating Stage 1 for his first time, reaching the last obstacle, but running out of time as the landmine came into sight. Even a pro player, Shotzi, found out he was no match for this course on the jumping spider. All of this has shown that this first stage has proven to be utterly unforgivable. But there are still 20 competitors left to run. In Tournament 17, only 1 of the first 80 challengers managed to succeed, and he was then followed by 6 of the final 20 succeeding. Could we see a repeat of that in today's tournament amongst our top competitors? Will we see more success, or will this first stage continue to devastate the field? Let's head back to the start line to find out. The first of today's final 20 challengers is making his way to the start line, and we're kicking off with quite the competitor. Not just one of our elite, he's an all-star with plenty of experience. First up to take on the course today is Could Be Better, a name that you might not recognize, but that is because he is the all-star formerly known as iGametypes, or Phil as we call him. Phil has been competing since the first ever Halo Reach tournament and is today making his record 17th appearance on this course. He first competed under the gamertag Dark is Sick, then changed it to a med pack, then Game Types, and now he's known as Could Be Better. Phil has had one of the most impressive runs on this course, having cleared Stage 1 multiple times and made it to the 3rd stage on 3 occasions, with his best ever performance coming 3 tournaments ago in Tournament 16 when he made it to the jumping bars. His overall performances and success on this course meant he was made an Xbox One All-Star going into Tournament 17. but of his 2 appearances that he's made since becoming an all-star, both have seen him fail at the flying chute. So, can Phil make it 3rd time lucky on this course, or will this first stage defeat him again? Phil could be better. This guy, 17 appearances on this course. Forget about Chris. This guy is the original competitor when it comes to changing your gamer tag. He's gone through so many names down his jumping career. I think he had another name as well when he started his jumping career. All the way back on Halo 3. I don't think he used to be called Dark is Sick back then. But he's off on the course today for his 17th appearance on the course. Making his way through the Sextuple steps with no problem at all, and he's having no issues with this ball drop. He's done it before, he did it in Tournament 17, and he's done it again today. Now onto the pole maze. This, of course, has been modified from the version he attempted in the last tournament. Taking his time to line himself up, and he gets up on the first try. That is crucial. With this time limit, it may be a long course, and it might seem like a long time limit, but you cannot afford to waste time on this course. Now for the devastating jumping spider. This has caused so much problems. He jumps, and he's into it. Nice job by Phil. He's making his way through the inside of the spider, taking his time a little bit. He's still advancing. And he makes it out of the spider with 60 seconds left on the clock. Now heading for the new half-pipe attack. He's done plenty of new obstacles in his time. He goes into it, nobody gets it all wrong, and he shoots out the other side of the head slide. Phil is out on stage 1 once again. The new half-pipe attack defeated him. You can see it here. He got a good first jump, but then his second jump, he got his angles all wrong. That is crucial on this obstacle. You have to get the jump right into the head slide, or you will shoot out of the other side. And that's exactly what has happened to Phil. He fails stage 1 once again, and this half-pipe attack has now taken out both of the all-stars that have attempted it so far. A disappointing start with our all-star Phil dropping out, but our next competitor apparently wants to start a fight with Gotenks. And he's crab walking. Who on earth is this guy? Next up on the course, making his second appearance, is Clever Alchemist, formerly known as AOC Scope-Sided. He made his debut in the last tournament and came very close to joining the elite group of competitors that cleared stage 1 on their debut. But he ran out of time, just a second short of the finish line, coming so close to completing stage 1 on his debut, but he was unable to do so. Now he's back for his second appearance on this course, hoping that it'll be second time's the charm this time round. But as we've seen, this course is a lot different from the one he attempted in the last tournament, although he does have a familiar first obstacle in the Sextuple steps. Making his way through it nicely and heading on to the ball drop. First of the obstacles that he will not have attempted before, since it was not in the last tournament. Way down it, crouching on it. Up to the first drop. Oh, he almost loses it, gets a safe jump onto the second drop. Oh, he's all over the place. No! Alchemist is out! He touched the track and then he fell off. Disappointing for Alchemist after doing so well in the last tournament. But that means we can move on to our next competitor who was watching Alchemist from the start line. This is Gotenks, back for his 6th appearance on the course. He made it to the second stage in the last tournament, and he was one of only 4 competitors to beat the salmon ladder. He's off today, 130 seconds to complete 9 obstacles. Although he did clear the salmon ladder, he then failed the next obstacle, the stick slider, since he didn't know what to do on it. He's hoping to make it back to that obstacle in today's tournament. He's on to the ball drop, which we've just seen take out Alchemist. And he goes for an early exit on the ball drop and makes it work. Now heading for the pole maze. He said he was pretty concerned about most of the obstacles. There wasn't one individual obstacle that was worrying him more than any. He was just worried about the whole course. And he's right to be worried. This course has been absolutely brutal so far. Now heading for jumping spider. He jumps, and he's into it as well. We've seen a variety of competitors, some jumping and some going for the Neuromac technique. But so far, Phil and Gotenks have opted to jump and made it work. And he heads on to the half-pipe attack. Can he get this obstacle? He goes into it. He gets it right. He jumped a little bit late, but he got away with it. And he's into the head slide nicely. And yet, oh, Gotenks! Oh, that was very, very close there. He almost dismounted a bit too early. That was his first lucky break as he heads for the warped wall. Can he get up this first time? Yes, he can! Nicely done. 40 seconds left. He's in a good position here. But this flying chute has ruined competitors' runs so far in this tournament. He lands it. Can he get the dismount that Snoz couldn't get? Yes, he can! 28 seconds left on the clock. Is Gotenks going to be our first clear in today's episode? He launches down into the rope ladder and he has time on his side. He's going up. Plenty of time in hand. Gotenks gets to the top, and Gotenks clears stage 1 for the second tournament in a row with 10.5 seconds left on the clock. Gotenks delivered when he needed to. This first stage has been utterly merciless. You don't know who's going to succeed and who's going to fail when it comes to this tournament. But Gotenks delivered one of his top performances, and he has earned his place in the second stage. He's the third man, only the third competitor so far in this tournament to succeed. He wasn't the fastest out of the blocks, stopping on that second step, but he made up time elsewhere, getting off the ball drop early, and then crucially made the jump into the jumping spider. His one close call did come here on the half-pipe attack, though, when he almost dismounted too early and almost came up short. But he got away with it, got up the warped wall in one, and that set him up to have plenty of time left in hand. Gotenks making it to the landmine. And after only clearing stage 1 with 0.03 of a second left on the clock, he made sure that he had plenty of time left today. Flame Vortex there watching on from the spectators. He'd already booked his place in stage 2 and he was desperate to see someone else succeed. Well, he's seen someone succeed now, and Gotenks, as I say, only cleared with 0.03 of a second, the slowest time ever in the last tournament. Today's tournament, he has the fastest time so far. A great start to our final group of competitors today. Will that lead on to more success? Our next competitor waiting at the start line is hoping to emulate Gotenks' success, and is also looking to make up for his failure in the last tournament. Next up on the course is another veteran, Walking 5099, who's looking at a star right now for some reason. He failed the flying chute in the last tournament after being one of only 7 competitors to clear stage 1 on the MCC in tournament 17. Now he's back, hoping to reach the second stage for his second time. Makes his way through the sextuple steps nicely. Onto the ball drop. This guy's one of the oldest jumping competitors around. He competed in Spartan Warrior many, many years ago on Halo 3. Way down the ball drop nicely and exits nicely. Onto the pole maze. Gets up that first time. We're seeing a lot of competitors so far get up for pole maze first try. Crucial to get up at first try. Gets a safe jump on the exit. And now he's heading for the jumping spider. Is he going to Neuromac it or is he going to jump? He goes early, he jumps, maybe he jumps a little bit late there, and he comes up short, and Walking is out on the jumping spider. Well, following on from that, we had 4 more competitors, newcomers, take on the course. This amongst the final group of newcomers to take on stage 1. But none of them were able to even put a dent in the course. Even some competitors failed getting off of obstacles, like Proximal Corgi on the Sextuple steps. Well then, allbbertt thought he'd done the ball drop, but he didn't. We then had a couple of top competitors fall. DHG Fireball, who was one of only 3 competitors to reach the 3rd stage in the last tournament, was unable to defeat the jumping spider this time around. And then we had Sane the Legend, one of the elite few competitors that's finished in first place in a tournament. He made it to the second stage last time out, and although he got the jump into the jumping spider, he then failed the next obstacle, the new half-pipe attack, when he got a good first jump, but didn't get a second jump into the head slide. That brings us on to our final 10 competitors of Stage 1, and the next one was one of our heroes in the last tournament. Next up to take on the course is Paddy Freakin, aka of the YouTube channel Paddy Freakin Clips. This is Paddy's third appearance on the course, and on his second appearance in the last tournament, he had a breakout run. He cleared Stage 1 for his first time ever, and then on the second stage, he was the first person to clear the salmon ladder, and in doing so was the first man to make it to the third stage. And in the end, he was one of only 3 competitors to reach the third stage, all of them for their first time ever. Whilst Paddy put on a good effort as the first man to take on Stage 3 in the last tournament, ultimately he was no match for the cliffhanger when he came up short of the third ledge. Now, after such an impressive performance in the last tournament, can he follow suit again today? Paddy Freakin, with his lovely, lustrous orange armor, he's back today, hoping to pick up where he left off. 130 seconds for 9 obstacles. Alongside Fireball and Weapon Mat, one of only 3 competitors. They were the only competitors to reach the third stage in the last tournament, and all of them got there for their first time. We've already seen Fireball drop out on this first stage. Paddy's a little bit all over the place on the ball drop at the minute, crouching and uncrouching. But he goes for an early exit as well, and he makes it work. Onto the pole maze. Lines himself up nicely. Goes up. Doesn't get up though! He has to go back for a second try. That's going to cost him a little bit of time. Lines himself up for the second go. No, Paddy! He's out! Paddy falls on just the third obstacle of Stage 1. What an unbelievable tournament this is turning out to be. That now brings us on to our final 3 newcomers. Next up, we have Wolf Ninja, 1225. Making his way onto the course and onto the sextuple steps. Nobody gets the first jump all wrong and he's out. Just 3 jumps into the course. 1 newcomer down, another waiting at the start line. Looking at the famous Sasuke sign. Next up, we have Beth Raine 7. One of our female competitors on this course. A nice person, I have to say. How will she fare on the course? 130 seconds, she shoots the sign, and she's off onto the course. Sextuple said, no, Beth fails the first jump. Oh, Beth, that is devastating. And with that, we are down to our final newcomer. All hopes rest on Ripto 9866. If this guy fails Stage 1, then our streak of 12 tournaments in a row of having a newcomer make it to the second stage will come to an end. Can this guy keep the streak going, or is this record-breaking run of newcomer success about to come to an end? He does get past the sextuple steps, unlike the last 2 newcomers. Pushes the ball onto the course to get it rolling. Moving quite quickly over it and gets off nicely. Onto the pole maze, which just took out Paddy. Paddy's failure. He's one of the earliest exits for one of our veterans so far in this tournament. But of course, we have several more veterans still to come. But Ripto does get through the pole maze. Now for the jumping spider. He's gonna Nuramak it. And he's into it nicely. We've seen a couple of competitors screw up the Nuramak technique, but for the most part, the Nuramak technique has worked nicely. And he's at a very quick pace. 74 seconds left. We saw how much time Phil had left when he got to this half-pipe attack. So Ripto is going very fast right now. This guy made it to the third stage once on Rog's course. So this guy has plenty of... he knows how to succeed on this course, in jumping courses. Now for the warped wall. He gets up it first time. This is a fantastic run. 50 seconds left as he goes into the flying chute. This was the one obstacle he was worried about, though, and you can see he's taking his time a little bit just to line himself up. It looked like he was going to do what Flame did, but he jumps into it, but he comes up short! No! It's over! The newcomers are defeated! For the first time since Tournament 6, we will have no newcomers moving on to the second stage. Ripto, he was doing so well up till then. But his jump, his technique on the flying chute was all wrong. He didn't even come close to the bar. His head didn't even hit the bar. He was that far off. And that is the end for our newcomers in Tournament 19. This tournament is... I'm running out of words. Next up on the course, our final 6 competitors, we have Master Neuromac, back today for his 6th appearance. And for the first time ever, he's looking for some revenge. He failed stage 1 for the first time ever in the last tournament, shockingly going out on the jumping spider. He wants revenge today. He's been to the 3rd stage 3 times in a row. He's one of the few competitors to reach the last jump of stage 3 in the past. He flies through the ball drop super fast. He's off to a quick start here as he goes into the pole maze. Drops down on his first go there, but gets up. Can he get into the head slide? Yes, he can. Going around nicely. He is moving very quickly at the minute. And he's through. And on to the scene of his failure last time out. But if there's one person that's going to do the Neuromac technique, it's the man that it's named after. Something he couldn't do in the last tournament because there was no trampoline. But he's through. He's got further than he did in the last tournament. He goes straight for the half-pipe attack, not even pausing for breath. New obstacle to him, but no trouble whatsoever. This is another fantastic run, just like we saw from Ripto. It could all go horribly wrong in a split second. He's onto the warped wall. Goes for it. Doesn't get up in on the first attempt, though. He's running back. He stops, though, and now he goes for his second attempt. Doesn't get it again. Does Neuromac not have the technique here? What's he trying to do? He's spinning around in circles. Does he not have the technique? He was so close there on the 3rd attempt, but still no good. That clock is running down mercilessly. His speed early on is giving him plenty of attempts at this obstacle, but he's losing all of his made-up time now. No, again! He's still not close. 22 seconds left. He's running out of time. He's not going to clear stage 1. Is he even going to get up the warped wall? Yes, he does. He gets up it now, but he has not got enough time left, and I think he knows it. 10 seconds as the klaxon sounds. He shoots the crowd. He knows he's beaten. Can he get the flying chute? Yes, he can. He does get the flying chute, but it's to no avail. He runs out of time on the bar of the flying chute. He's only the 6th competitor to land the bar so far on the flying chute. But Neuromac fails stage 1 for the 2nd tournament in a row. It's still one of the best performances by any of the competitors so far in this tournament. But it's not good enough to see Neuromac head back to the 2nd stage this time round. 5 competitors left to take on the 1st stage. The next man at the start line is making a grand return to this course. Back from retirement is the legend Double Ump, the godfather of Halo Jump. Ump has been competing longer than any other competitor in the history of Halo Jumping, going all the way back to the Spartan Warrior course on Halo 3, and he made his debut on this course in Tournament 4, and will go on to make 11 appearances on the Xbox 360. Ump also established himself as one of the most successful competitors on the 360, clearing the 1st stage 7 times and making it to the 3rd stage 5 times. But then, going into Tournament 17, Ump announced a shock decision. Tournament 17, his 12th appearance on this course, would be his final ever before he retired from Halo Jumping. One of the most shocking moments we've ever seen in the history of Halo Jumping. But Ump made sure he would not go out without a fight. He made it to the 3rd stage once again, before he was ultimately defeated by the cliffhanger. And that looked like it was the end of his incredible career. But as we now know, that proved to be nothing but a faux pas. All Ump needed was a break, because when he came back to Halo jumping,
Double Up has done it! He's going back to the final stage!
Ump broke new ground when he made his return on Halo 5, making it to the final stage for his first time ever on Halo Ninja Warrior, and then he made it in back-to-back tournaments in the new Spartan Sasuke course. And as we now know, on Spartan Sasuke...
Yes! 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 He's done it! Up, double up! Sensei!
After almost 10 years of competing on jumping courses, Ump Double Ump could finally call himself a grand champion. But after all this success that he's achieved on other courses following his return, how will he fare now on his first appearance back on this course? Will he still have what it takes? Ump Double Ump, his 13th appearance on this course. 130 seconds, 9 obstacles, Ump is back! We knew that retirement couldn't last. The most experienced competitor in the history of Halo jumping, and he makes it through the Sextuple steps nicely. He's on to the ball drop. Ump hasn't failed the first stage since Tournament 10, although he has missed 3 tournaments during that time. He's having a little bit of trouble with this ball drop at the moment. He's got the ball rolling very, very slowly at the minute. He's down the first drop, and he gets off before the second drop. It cost him a little bit of time though. On to the pole maze. Get up this first try. Yes, he can. Making his way around. And heading for the dismount, and he doesn't need a safe jump. Now for the jumping spider. Can he crack this? He also goes for the Neuromac technique. Well, he may be the most experienced competitor of all time, but he's going to use the Neuromac technique as well, and he flies through the inside of the spider. Now for the half-pipe attack where his friend Phil failed. He gets it nicely! Slows himself down, which means less of a pathway to get to the landing platform. And now he makes his way to the warped wall. 50 seconds left on the clock. A little less time than the last 2 competitors, but he still has time in hand. Ooh, he can't get up the warped wall first time though. We've seen how this can go horribly wrong with Neuromac. He's not even close on the second attempt. Oh, he's panicking. 3rd attempt. He's not giving himself enough of a run up there. 4th attempt. No, Ump. 28 seconds. You need to get up this warped wall now. No, Ump. He hasn't failed the first stage since Tournament 10. But he gets up it now. But surely he hasn't got enough time left. He's quickly onto the flying chute. He goes down for it. But he comes up short. Ump is beaten by the first stage. This stage 1 is turning into an absolute nightmare for our competitors. Ump Double Ump, he was a little slow on the ball drop. He was struggling to get it moving. But then he started to make up a little bit of time. He was quick through the pole maze, through the jumping spider, and the half-pipe attack. But this warped wall, just as we saw with Neuromac, he couldn't get up it quickly enough. He had to take so many attempts before he finally did get up it, and by then he didn't have enough time. He was rushing, and ultimately he came up short on the flying chute. Ump Double Ump, on his grand return to this course, fails the first stage for the first time since Tournament 10. 4 competitors left. Next up on the course is the last of our heroes from the last tournament. Next up on the course, we have Weapon Matt, also back today for his 3rd appearance. This guy has had quite the start to his jumping career. In 2 appearances, he's cleared stage 1 both times, including in Tournament 17, where on his debut, he was the only newcomer to make it to the 2nd stage. Although ultimately his run came to an early exit on the salmon ladder. Then in the last tournament, he pushed it 1 step further. He made it back to the 2nd stage once again, but this time round, he was able to get his revenge on the salmon ladder, and in doing so, booked his place in the third stage for his first time ever. And as I say, alongside Fireball and Paddy, they were the only people to make it to the third stage. But like Fireball and Paddy, he was also unable to clear the cliffhanger. So, the question now is, after such a hot start onto his Ninja Warrior of Halo career, can he make it 3 for 3 on this course? Or will this brutal first stage bring him down to earth, as it has so many other competitors? Weapon Matt, our number 97. Although he, Fireball, and Paddy all failed the same ledge on the cliffhanger and were all classed as being tied for first place, obviously only one person can have the higher number out of the 3. And we gave it to Weapon Matt because he did get the closest on the ledge. Ooh, what on earth was that? I've never seen lag like that before. He pushed the ball and then the ball decided to go back. We've seen a laggy Weapon Matt kick off this course. So yeah, consider Weapon Matt the unofficial first place in the last tournament because he got the closest to landing the ledge on the cliffhanger. But ultimately they all are officially tied first place. Weapon Matt's moving through the pole maze. He's had a bit of a sloppy start. His lag hasn't held. He had to take a few attempts just to get onto the pole there for the pole maze, but he is through it now. Onto the jumping spider. The last 3 competitors have all Neuramaxed it, and Weapon Matt Neuramaxed it as well. His way through. It's a little bit slow, and he picks up the pace at the end nicely though. Perhaps he realized he was using too much time. Hits the half-pipe attack with less than a minute left on the clock. Ooh, he only just gets into the head slide there though. He almost came up short. Only 11 competitors have so far cleared this obstacle, but Weapon Matt becomes the 12th person to clear the half-pipe attack. And he moves on to the warped wall. Goes straight for it, but doesn't get up on the first try. And not on the second try. We've just seen with Neuramax and Ump, this warped wall can kill competitors' runs. No one's actually failed the warped wall so far. Everyone that's got to it has cleared it, but we've seen a few competitors fail multiple times, and Weapon Matt's failed. He's not giving himself enough of a run-up. Does he not know the technique? He is getting close, but it's not close enough. Weapon Matt, back up a little bit. That's a little bit better, and then he comes up even earlier. Klaxon sounding. Is he gonna not even get up the warped wall? Weapon Matt, he almost gets it then, but he runs out of time. Weapon Matt fails stage 1 for the first time ever. His hot streak, his hot start comes to an end. He's the first person in this tournament to fail the warped wall. He's still trying, he's not giving up, but it's to no avail. That leaves us with 3 competitors to go now. Is anyone else going to succeed? Our next competitor is choosing the second step on the Sextuple steps. This is Shadier Degree 02. Like Weapon Matt making his 3rd appearance, and like Weapon Matt, he has also cleared stage 1 on his first 2 appearances. Yeah, he could have achieved the record of being the first ever competitor to make it to stage 3 on both of his first 2 appearances, but he missed out on achieving that record because he failed on the salmon ladder in the last tournament. He, of course, made it all the way to the jumping bars on his debut in Tournament 16. Is this guy going to be our hero? After all the failures we've seen so far, Gotenks is still the only person to have succeeded so far today. Shadier is moving nicely quickly into the pole maze. A fast start can help you, particularly with this warped wall, as we've seen. It gives you more time to attempt the obstacle. Makes his way to the jumping spider. Stops, lines himself up, goes for it. He's going to jump for it, but he jumped too early. Shadier, he's out on the jumping spider. And his 100% success rate on stage 1 comes to an end as well. Before we continue, guys, let's pause to look at stage 1's Ninja Killer. Honestly, we could have picked any obstacle on this first stage because the whole course has been absolutely devastating. But the obstacle that stood out the most and has claimed the most victims has been the ball drop. with it so far having taken out 23 competitors in this tournament. From newcomers to regulars, even a veteran has actually failed this obstacle. And notably, several competitors that did well in the last tournament, like an epic Reshiram, failed early on this obstacle. Just beating out the Sextuple steps, and the pole maze, and the jumping spider, which all have taken out a large number of competitors so far in this tournament. Even as we've seen today, Clever Alchemist, who got so close to clearing stage 1 in the last tournament, was unable to defeat this obstacle today. The ball drop is Tournament 19's Ninja Killer on stage 1. That leaves us with 2 competitors left to take on the first stage. And our next man on the course is another making a grand return to Ninja Warrior of Halo. Also back from retirement is the all-star Drago is Sick, now known as Drago is Back. Drago first competed on this course all the way back in Tournament 2 on the first Halo Reach tournament, and he went on to establish himself as the most consistent competitor on the first stage. In 14 appearances, Drago cleared stage 1 11 times. That is still an all-time record. And what makes it even more impressive is that out of his 3 stage 1 failures, 2 of them came in his first 2 appearances on this course. In Tournament 4, when Re95 achieved total victory to become the first ever Grand Champion, Drago was watching on down below, supporting his friend. And in the next tournament, he went on to produce his personal best, making it to the final stage for his first time and looking to emulate Ree's success. But ultimately, he was no match for the tower. Just 2 tournaments later, Drago would suffer more first stage heartbreak though, when he was unable to defeat the Warped Wall. But since then, in every tournament he's competed in, he's cleared the first stage every time. But ultimately, he's been unable to make it back to the final stage. As other competitors started to surpass his performances and his achievements, Drago decided that Tournament 16 would be his final ever appearance on this course before he retired from Halo jumping. But now he's back. And the question is, will he still have what it takes on Ninja Warrior of Halo? Or will this first stage defeat the most successful competitor ever on stage 1? Drago, the 3rd person to make it to 15 appearances, 130 seconds for 9 obstacles. It's great to see this all-star back. He was an Xbox 360 all-star, but everyone is still classed as an all-star once you become an all-star. Drago on his way to the ball drop, his first experience of this obstacle. Despite his retirement, he's actually only ended up missing 2 tournaments since his last appearance. He's looking pretty good at the minute. He's still looking like the Drago of old. He sprints into the pole maze, jumped a little bit late there, but got into the head slide. He makes his way round onto the dismount and onto the jumping spider. Another obstacle that's new to Drago. So many of these obstacles are new to him. He goes for it. He jumps as well. He hits the trampoline, but he comes up short. Drago is out on stage 1. The jumping spider. He fails the first stage for the first time since Tournament 7. Drago, his streak of 8 stage 1 clears in a row for appearances comes to an end. Drago, he jumped, I think, just a little bit early, and he came up short. The jump was good, but it wasn't good enough to get into the spider. Drago is Sick, our all-star, the most successful competitor in Ninja Warrior of Halo history on stage 1, fails to clear stage 1 today. Drago is Sick is out. And with that, there is just 1 competitor left to take on stage 1, but we have well and truly saved the best till last. Can he lead the way shine the light for those that have fallen. The final competitor to take on Stage 1 is the all-star Smokey Massacre. Smokey is famous in the Halo jumping community for his own course, Halo Ninja Warrior.
Hello and welcome back to Halo Ninja Warrior. Today we return to Halo 5, where Tournament 19 will begin.
But as well as being famous for hosting his own jumping course, Smokey has built up quite the reputation for his performances jumping on this course. Although his debut back in Tournament 5 did not go according to plan, just 8 appearances later, he would find himself climbing the final stage, and although he came up just short of achieving total victory the first time round, 2 tournaments later, he found himself back on the final stage once again, and this time round, he made it count, reaching the top of the tower within the time limit to become the second ever Grand Champion of Ninja Warrior of Halo. Since becoming Grand Champion, Smokey has not let his performances or his efforts drop. In Tournament 17, as his first appearance as Grand Champion, he absolutely destroyed the new first stage, clearing it in the fastest ever time in the history of Ninja Warrior of Halo. And then he went and did the exact same thing on Stage 2, clearing that stage for a record 7th tournament in a row, and also got the fastest ever clear time, and he was the first and currently only competitor to clear the Shin cliffhanger on Stage 3, before his run ultimately came to an end at the Spider Flip. In the last tournament, he was able to keep up his Stage 1 record by clearing it for the 8th tournament in a row, but unfortunately, he lost his Stage 2 record when he shockingly failed the Salmon Ladder on Stage 2. That Salmon Ladder failure was actually the worst performance Smokey has put on since Tournament 10, which was the last time he failed to complete the first stage. But now, he's looking to make it 9 tournaments in a row clearing Stage 1, and he's looking to clear Stage 1 for his 10th time in his career. Can Smokey do it? Smokey Massacre. Our Grand Champion, the Crabman, number 100, back for his 14th appearance. Can he lead the way for everyone else that's fallen? 130 seconds, 9 obstacles, and he's off. If there's one competitor you'd want to back on this course, it would be Smokey. He's just he's the perfect example for a competitor. He started off so poorly with his career. He only cleared Stage 1 once in his first 5 or 6 appearances. The success he's gone on to achieve since then, he's the perfect example of a competitor that should never give up. And he's flying through the course so far, into the pole maze first time, making his way down and onto the jumping spider. This has just taken out the last 2 competitors, but Smokey's going to go straight for it, gets the jump into the trampoline. Smokey comes up short! He's undone by the jumping spider, and he fails the first stage for the first time since Tournament 10. His streak of 8 Stage 1 clears in a row, 8 tournaments in a row he has cleared this first stage, has come to an end. The jumping spider came up short, just like Shadier, just like Drago. They jumped too early, Smokey jumped too late. Smokey Massacre, our Grand Champion, he fails the first stage for the first time since becoming Grand Champion. The jumping spider concludes Stage 1 by taking out all of our final 3 competitors. And with that, guys, we've come to the end of a first stage we were not expecting to see. 100 competitors came, like any other tournament, but this time it proved to be anything but a normal tournament. One by one, they tried. It didn't matter whether you failed the first obstacle or got deep into Stage 1 before falling. This first stage provided a new meaning to the word merciless. though Flame Vortex was able to raise competitors' hopes by being the first to succeed, and he was then followed shortly after by another successful run. Following Alpha Puma, only one of the remaining 45 challengers managed to successfully complete the first stage. So as we saw today, Gotenks was the only one of the final 20 competitors that is also moving on to stage 2. The 17 runs after Gotenks, all failing to complete the first stage. That sets a new record for the most consecutive failures to close out the first stage, and it was one of a number of unwanted records set today. The 3 clears is the joint lowest in the course's history. It's the 3rd time that's happened, but it's the first time it's happened since Tournament 5. Considering that the 2 previous times it's happened, both tournaments had less than 50 competitors take on the course, it shows how tough this first stage was. The 97 failures on this first stage beats the previous record set in Tournament 10. For the first time since Tournament 6, we have no newcomers moving on to Stage 2. For the first time since the group of All-Stars was introduced, every single one of the All-Stars failed the first stage, and we have no All-Stars moving on to Stage 2. But perhaps the most shocking statistic of them all. For the first time ever in Ninja Warrior of Halo's history, we will have a Stage 2 which does not feature a single competitor taking it on for their first time. In the last tournament, we had 11 competitors beat the first stage in the first Halo 5 tournament as we got off to a hot start. But clearly the changes that were made to the course this time round have had a devastating impact. So in the end, just 3 men are still standing. Flame Vortex was the first to succeed, and he was followed by Alpha Puma and Gotenks, who got the fastest time in Stage 1. But the journey is far from over for these 3 men. Now, they must prepare for their next challenge. In the next episode, we will see these 3 heroes take on the second stage. They all made it to this stage in the last tournament, but they all failed it. Do any of them have what it takes to succeed this time round? If this second stage proves to be as difficult as the first stage was, could we really see a Ninja Warrior of Halo tournament end on the second stage for the first time ever? Or will one of these challengers have what it takes to reach the 3rd stage and beyond? I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. If you have, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time for the finale of Tournament 19. Until then, guys, I've been Untitled 751. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, guys.